I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us today. Uh, we're living in different times, but haven't lived at another time in my life with a being a very stressful time and not knowing. Uh, Back in 1983, I lost a job. I was 3,500 miles away from my home, my from North Carolina, married with three kids, and one of them a newborn. And we didn't know what to do. And um, we, I met a friend of mine, and we were working every day, getting ready for the big move from Alberta, Canada, all the way to North Carolina. And I remember meeting this friend, and we had come to a place of peace. This friend gave us this verse of scripture. He said, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose." This dear friend, Art Cron, said, I wanted to come and talk to you, but I didn't know what to say. But then he quoted this verse of scripture, and he says, I can't tell you how, but he said, I know this will be for your good. Time went on, we left, and we went home. We didn't have a job. And I had two brothers that did not have a job and had not had a job for 2 years. I had two brother-in-laws in the same condition, hadn't had work in 2 years. And when I got home, my father said, "You need to take a vacation." And I said, "What for?" "I need to look for work." He said, "You're going to get work." Well, he wanted me to take 2 weeks vacation, but I don't think I made it 2 weeks until I was working a full-time job. And God took care of my wife and I during that time. And I come to realize that God knew before I left Alberta what he was going to do. God's still in control today, and he knows what he's going to do. And I just encourage people, he is trustworthy. God is trustworthy. I now have 5 kids, and I watched them all grow up. If God were to take me home, I'd be home with him. Good friend of mine, I called him, he had lost his wife, and I said, I'm very sorry. Sorry about your wife. He said, "What for?" He said, "We live all of our lives wanting to go to heaven and talking about going to heaven." Now, I'm talking about Christians. If you're not a Christian today, you don't have the hope that my friend Wes Davison had. He said, "What kind of stuff you trying to preach?" He said, "We live all of our lives wanting to go to heaven." My wife is in heaven today, and I'm not sorry about that. You know what? Neither am I. If I were to die and go to heaven because of this virus, I'll be in heaven, and I sure won't be sorry about it. And I think we can all look and trust God. And I want to thank you. I want to read this verse again. It says, and we know, that is very confident, that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. And I tell you, if you're saved today, God has called you into salvation. It was His doing. He brought you under conviction. He brought you to the place where you said, I am sorry for my sin. He brought you to the place where you put faith in Him. That means 100% trust in what Jesus Christ did on the cross for salvation. He died, paid the price for our salvation. Romans 5, and I'm going to read it. Romans 5, verses 15 through 18. But not as the offense. So also it's the free gift. For if through the offense of one many be dead, much more the grace of God and the gift by grace, which is by one man Jesus Christ, hath abounded unto many. And not as it was by one that sinneth, so is the gift. For the judgment was by one to condemnation, but the free gift is of many offenses unto justification. For if by one man's offense death reigned by one, much more they which receive abundance of grace and of the gift of righteousness shall reign in life by one Jesus Christ. Therefore, as by the offense of one judgment came upon all men to condemnation, so even so by the righteousness of one the free gift came unto all men unto justification of life. Jesus gave us a free gift of salvation. A free gift is a gift when we literally take that gift. It is not ours until we say, I want it. And that He wants us to do. It's free. That free gift of salvation comes with recognizing that we're a sinner and asking God to forgive us of that sin and putting our whole trust in what Jesus Christ has done for our salvation. Thank you for listening to me.